So, with Diablo 4 being way much more of a MMO than a normal co-op or action RPG that you might have played in Diablo 3 or other game of its ilk, and you might be wondering how exactly are they going to be handling the different difficult settings as far of getting easy loot to getting a harder and harder item from harder and harder content. Well, today I'm going to be breaking down everything you need to know about war tendencies and how this operates in Diablo 4. But before we hop into it, I do want to give a giant thank you to everybody that is subscribing over on patreon.com/Maconn, as well as a big thank you to 1K for subscribing at the Lunar Teal. And if you want to help out for a little at $1 a month, link in the description below for that. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead, let's jump into this, and let's talk about war tendencies. The war tendencies themselves pretty much operate in the same way as you've seen in like Diablo 3 with like normal, hard, effort, so on and so on. And of course, as you all probably know, by playing harder modes, you do get access to more experience, more item, well drops, new enemies, and a whole bunch of stuff. And Diablo 4 is luckily enough not getting rid of that. They are streamlining it a little bit, but this is something that is going to be great, especially for all you who want a challenge or better loot. So to start off here, we need to go ahead and head to a war tendency statue. And of course, in the case of the beta itself, and probably will be in multiple cities at launch, you can go ahead and find it a setting right here at the star icon, and we want to go ahead and head over to it, and by clicking on it we will get our tendency menu here. So how this operates is, of course, we have eventual and all the way up here to, of course, level 4 being the hardest setting, elite for the beta anyway. And of course, these are broken out into two ways. When you create your character, you will be at, do you want to start on tier 1 or tier 2? You can pick whatever you see fit here. Of course, tier 1 does have enemies that are easier to defeat and is for new players. Of course, tendency 2 is, of course, more challenging because monster will give a 20% increase of experience, monster drop 15% and more gold, and the enemy themselves will also become harder. But in the case of the beta, we will see if they change in full elite. For like the lat 2 setting, these are going to require you to do certain content for it. So in the case to unlock Nightmare here, you must unlock by completing the campaign and of course by completing a dungeon on War Tendency 2. And we do have a recommendation for what that quest and dungeon seem to be, which in that case will be roughly 50 to 70, as well as we will get access to the new stuff. So to start off here, we can go ahead and get some items, some unique items. We can get sigils, as well as a couple other things that we can use for crafting and whatnot. And of course, if you want to know more information, especially about sigil, I did do a breakdown video on how to enhance your equipment, and this is something that will be very much in handy for that, and honestly, a pretty good motivator for wanting to play Nightmare. Link above if you want more information on that stuff when it comes to sigils, as well as enemy details here with a monster giving 100% increase to experience, 15 to item drop in gold, as well as a monster overcome 20% up resistant. And of course, bumping this up to the hardest setting, which is recommended for level 70 plus player. Not only do we have to complete a quest and a dungeon at tier 3 to unlock this, then we will also get access to any more items, as well that are exclusive to the difficult setting, as well as enemy being stronger. Now 200% to increase experience, 15% to gold and items, so that does not change. And now monsters are 40% more likely to resist certain elements. So as you can see here, this is going to stay very similar to the way it was in Diablo 3. The only difference here is instead of picking Elite 3 and 4 by default, you are going to have to work to unlock these. So this is, I guess, maybe a good or bad thing depending on what type of player you are. Personally, I'm in the camp of being okay, totally having to, like, do X, Y, and Z to unlock harder settings, and also that way your character is roughly a little more up to snuff for it. But I know some of you might be a little disappointed in this, but nonetheless, this is how this is operating right now. And of course, if you do pick a harder setting and it is just way too hard, or you want to go back down, you can, of course, drop down at any point by coming back to the statue and switching to a lower setting. But there is a little side note to be added here. I don't know if this is because of the beta, or maybe this is how it's going to be in full release as well. Just keep in mind, though, if you get invited to a party and that player is playing on one of the harder settings, you then will be automatically put into that same difficult setting. So keep that in mind here. And of course, if you're jumping in and out of parties a lot, that might be something that you might want to double check before you go back venturing alone to make sure that everything is fine. Like I said, it could be a beta thing, it could be a bug causing the issue, I don't know. But nonetheless, something to keep in mind. And there you have it. There, everything you need to know at the moment, anyway, about World Tendency. Of course, I will make an update video once they come out, since some of it might change around a little bit. But nonetheless, that is everything tied to this for the time being, and hopefully you have found this video helpful. If so, make sure to thumbs up, subscribe, hit all the wonderful bells below, and of course, like always, I will see you tomorrow for more Diablo 4 videos, as well as in the comments.